What up, everybody? Just gonna go on. I'm streaming on all these different platforms right now. I gotta make sure I can get these comments once people start commenting. I don't know how they're gonna show up, but this is the first time I'm doing it on Rev Streams or whatever. So, yeah, we'll see. We will see what happens with this. Just make sure that it's streaming on the other platforms. We will see what Okay, it is. Cool. I just want to make sure that if I get the notifications that I can see your guys' comments since I am streaming on X, on YouTube, and on TikTok. So yeah. Once I am able to see those comments, then I'll start going because I know we usually get like hundreds, like or thousands on TikTok. So I'm just checking on my phone since I've never done the multi-platform stream. Just texting my boy Grant. I'm like, where do I see these comments? Um, maybe no one's commented yet. We'll see. But I'll be answering all fantasy football, sit start questions for tonight specifically, and of course this weekend. I know it's a pivotal week, and yeah, I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I can see the comments though, because I'm not directly on TikTok. I'm using a third platform right now, even though it is live streaming from TikTok. So if you bear with me for a few seconds here, I'll figure it out because I do want to be able to see the comments on all platforms. But yeah, it'll be a good game tonight. And yeah, we'll see. Hold on one second. Figuring it out. Trying to resume the chat area. So on TikTok. So I literally won't be able to see your comments for a few seconds of just figuring it out since this is the first time I'm doing this. And then I will answer all of these questions. Whatever platform though. So obviously the biggest, my brand is biggest on TikTok. So that's probably where we'll get the comments. Okay. Where we'll get the most comments. Let me see. Okay. Chat tab. Okay. New comments. It's weird. That's only from this though, so I'm trying to exactly figure it out. Easily find. Okay. There we go. Oh, what's going on? All right, that's a YouTube comment. So at least we got that one. I know we probably have hundreds of TikTok comments that are not going through yet. So give me 1 second, y'all. Text my boy, TikTok comments, not going through. What's up, y'all? I see the YouTube ones. The YouTube ones are coming through, which is cool, but I want to make sure the TikTok ones come through, you know? Um YouTube comments coming through. Yo, what's up, everybody? Be answering fantasy football questions. So that's the basis of this stream. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to log on to the TikTok on my phone too, just so I can see your guys' comments. Log in, answer. What's up, y'all? On another. Okay. Isaiah or Taylor from the Niners? Probably Taylor. Now I'm gonna log in right now on this other one so I can see the exact comments. I'll put this up here for you guys. Alrighty. Okay, I should be able to see the comments now. But I am on another platform, so that's why it's a little odd. I'm gonna hide the chat overlay for a sec. And so I'm logged into my TikTok as well with the burner. So now I'll be able to see the questions. There we go. Okay. Yeah, but I would start Taylor. Now let's go to the other comments on TikTok. I have it over here, so I'm gonna be looking at that too. Tyreek or Terry? I would go Terry McLaurin. That one's tough because Waddle's probably not gonna play. So it's difficult to really say with that exact matchup. But I mean, 49ers pass defense is elite. I think they're ranked second in the entire league, right? So for me, it's tough. Judy or Jonathan Taylor. I'm looking at the TikTok comments too because we got like hundreds on TikTok as well. But answer those. But if we got any from the other platforms as well, I'll of course answer it from all platforms. DK or Ramondre, I would go. That's a tough one. DK hasn't done anything in weeks, so that's always difficult. I'd probably go Ramondre just because it's guaranteed usage, even though I don't love the matchup. Knicks or Rogers, I would go probably Rogers. And if you guys are viewing this on TikTok, make sure to sub and on YouTube. I'm going to be coming out with some more vlogs and content like that, interview content, and of course X, where I come in with all the in-depth stuff. So now I have my phone like behind, which is like pretty cool. But yeah. So if I'm looking up here, it means I'm answering the ones on TikTok specifically. Reed or Adunze, I would go, I would go probably Jaden Reed. I know it's not consistent with him, but it's one of those things where you kind of have to roll with the upside and hope it works. Yeah. Bates or Lutz, I would go Bates. Bates has been great all year. Kickers, it's different. It's so weird. Unless you have Boswell like this year, it's like hit or miss. Jason Sanders is also pretty good. Jalen McMillan or Zay Flowers? This is a YouTube question. I would. This sounds crazy. I'd go Jalen McMillan. I'm starting him over Jaden Reed in one of my leagues, my main league this weekend in the semis, and hoping it works out. I see the 8+ targets from McMillan in the last 2 weeks, in both of or 6+ in the last 2 weeks in both of them. 18 fantasy points back-to-back weeks. It's kind of where I go there. DK or McMillan. Okay, I see that question. I would probably roll with at this point McMillan. It sounds crazy because DK was so good to start the year, but it seems like JSN has certainly eclipsed him. And yeah, so that's where I would roll with that. Or JSN, or I would play JSN. Jackson Smith-Njigba is like a must start at this point. You know what he's done. I think what do you have 10 catches last week, and that was considered an off week. So yeah, Reek or Ladd McConkey. Ladd's had 14+ fantasy points in 3 straight games, so or 4 straight games rather. So I'm with it and starting Ladd. Yeah, no worries, guys. If I'm again, I won't get to all the questions specifically on TikTok. So that's why I always say sub to all the other ones because we don't know about the ban and stuff. I don't think it affects people that already have TikTok. The ban that's going to go into effect in the US, I think it's more for like new users, but that's how I make money. I need TikTok to keep going, man. My whole economy's on TikTok, which is why I'm trying to branch out, get subs on YouTube, get more followers on X, all that stuff to try and monetize it further. Henry startable this week. Of course, Henry is a start. I mean, I don't think he plays as bad as he did last time against Pittsburgh, right? Like, what do you have? 10 fantasy points or something against Pittsburgh? I remember that game because, you know, that was that first game after he had what bazillion fantasy points back to back weeks. Like he was getting like 25 a week, and all of a sudden that was the game where he had like 10, right? But I do think he plays much better. I wouldn't assume that it's over 20, but I do think he gets like I think 18 is probably around 1 touchdown, 60 yards. Knicks or Daniels? Loving Knicks. Yeah, Daniels didn't do anything against Philly. Chargers just gave up 40 points. I would still start Daniels personally, but go with your gut. If you think Knicks is the guy tonight, like that's fine. I know the Chargers defense has looked like a mixed bag the last week and a half, 2 weeks. So yeah, I don't have the game on the back right now. So I know it hasn't started yet, but yeah. Neighbors, BTJ, JSN, bench 1. I'd probably bench Neighbors out of those 3, even though it sounds crazy. It's a pretty good matchup, but Atlanta definitely hit or miss defensively. Maybe they're more amped because they have quarterback change, but you can't sit BTJ right now. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. He's getting the looks. He's getting everything. So, yeah. Tyreek or Sutton, I would go Sutton. Daniels or Purdy, I would go probably Jaden. Purdy looked horrible last week against a really bad defense, which means he'll, of course, look great against the better defense in Miami. But still, I would trust Daniels because of the rushing upside. I also don't think Daniels plays as bad as he did the first game that they played him, right? Knicks or Kyler, I would go Kyler. Um, Neighbors, BTJ or Sutton, I would go BTJ. Yeah. T. Higgins, Brian Thomas, Cortland, JSN. I would go Thomas and JSN. Cheers. Yeah, cheers to you too, man. Yeah. It's my first time doing a live on YouTube too, which is cool because I usually just use my phone on like TikTok, right? Because that's where my brand's pretty much established. But I am trying to cross over and do more YouTube stuff, more specific YouTube stuff. If you guys haven't seen my vlog at Venice Beach from a few days ago, I think it's some pretty good content. Go in depth and kind of like the NFL landscape, who people would take number one next season. It was weird because I went on a Tuesday at 12. So I usually work nights at my other job. And I was just there at noon on a Tuesday, and it was so weird. Like there were there weren't like almost anybody there. There was a few guys, but they didn't really know ball. And there were some rugby players that were pro rugby players. Team I don't called like the Warriors in New Zealand or something. I don't know, but they were like the best interview. The other guys didn't really know that much. It's just tough because then the guys we wanted to talk to, we approached were like crackheads, and they were like or drug dealers. And I was like, "Oh, you want to do this interview on camera?" And they were like, "No, please, no cameras." Those kind of were the people that we were talking football with, me and my producer last week at Venice Beach, which was midday. I mean, I get it. Most people are at work, right? So yeah, I'll go. But if you guys make sure to check that out, I think that's pretty good content. Personally, I'm biased, but I think y'all will enjoy it. Mahomes, AR-15 or Penix. Penix has such an easy matchup, man. I'd probably go Penix. Mahomes is banged up, and AR looked horrible last week. James Cook or Rico Dowdle, I would go James Cook. Knicks or Penix, I would still go Knicks. Hurts or Allen, I would go Josh Allen for sure. Every week, Josh Allen is a must-start every week. At some point, he won't score 50 fantasy points every game, but still, Bucky or Rico, I would go Bucky. Yeah, Kendre Miller or Amir Abdullah. Kendre Miller. Doesn't look like Kamara is going to play the rest of the year. Why should he? The team's not going anywhere. Might as well rest him. Similar to like kind of what the Niners are doing with Trent Williams. Knicks or Tua? Knicks. Tua, anytime he plays a good defense, a good passing defense, he folds. Like, I don't think he's played well in a big game since Alabama. Pretty sure. Like, every time there's cold weather, every time there's a good pass defense, it seems like he folds into a cheap suit. So, Zay Flowers or Xavier Worthy this week? I'd roll with Zay Flowers. I mean, if these YouTube comments are coming in, make sure you follow me on TikTok too, because I have all these videos out on like sit starts, and Xavier Worthy was a sit for me this week. And it's just because Houston's defense is ranked 6th against the pass. They've improved all year. Worthy is, kind of in that battle for targets with DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce. And, I'm not saying Zay Flowers is going to have a great game, but I think he has a better game than Xavier Worthy. Yeah. And vice versa. If you guys are asking questions on TikTok, I love you guys. I appreciate the support on TikTok that I have already. But it would help me tremendously if you guys could also sub to my YouTube and follow me on X and all that stuff. But yeah, more JSN, BTJ, Judy, Scary Terry, pick one. I would go pick one. Probably Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know he has a tough matchup. Minnesota's defense is elite, but still, aren't they playing Minnesota? Yeah, they are playing Minnesota, right? Still, I like JSN a lot between those. BTJ is tough to sit though. Let me go to a TikTok comment, then I'll get back to the YouTube comment there. Kendre or Brees, I'd go Brees Hall. We saw what he did last week. Really liked, what he did finally. Rams are not, they don't, I mean, their defensive line has played great the last few weeks, but it's not like they rank top 20 against the run, which they don't. They're not a great run defense. So, or a good pass defense for that matter. Pacheco or Pat Taylor? Probably Pat Taylor. Purdy or AR? Probably Purdy. Jonathan Taylor, Debo, Kendre Miller, McMillan, pick one for flex. Yeah, Taylor might go off because of what happened last week. Tough to sit him. I would still roll with Taylor, but it's close with McMillan. Debo's an obvious sit. I don't think he's done anything since, yeah. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let's see. How is this going to look if I zoom on TikTok? That's weird. I'm trying to find the perfect angle because I'm a little close on TikTok. I'll answer some questions more. Maybe I'll just go like this, to be honest. There we go. I think I just need to back up a little bit. It's probably a little bit better. Let me answer the questions now again. Let's see. Start one. Tyrone Tracy. I would just start. Yeah, I would start Tracy for sure. Um, Jordan Addison, Bucky, or JT. I would probably. It's so tough, man. I'd probably go Addison and Bucky if you're choosing two. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just texting my homie Shay right now. Works at FSR, genius producer over there. What was I saying? Man. Yeah, I can't see the comments as much when I back out, but whatever. We'll go like this for YouTube and stuff. Yeah. Hubbard or BTJ? Oh my god, but then it screws with me for there we go. Okay. That seems like it's a good angle on both ways. Because I'm looking at my TikTok right now on a burner account. I always have a burner just to check if like stuff is going on. And then yeah, it looks like it's pretty good both ways. Okay, now back to answering questions. Hubbard BTJ for flex. BTJ. Jonathan Taylor. Okay, I already answered that one. JT or Brees. I would go. Yeah, I'd probably go Brees. Yeah. Are you starting Dowdle, McConkey, or Jennings? McConkey. McConkey's a must start tonight at what is it, 5:15? Yeah, it's games in a like I mean, his target share has been insane. 14 plus fantasy points, 4 straight games. I think he's an easy must start. Yeah. Packers, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals. What defense should you start? I'd go with the Packers this week. I mean, they force a lot of turnovers. So, I mean, I kind of always roll with that. I mean, I picked up the Lions for a time. Obviously, with all the injuries, they've been worse now. But yeah. Let's see. BTJ or Tyreek. I would go BTJ. JT or Bucky. Bucky, Lad or London. I'd probably go London to be honest, but I like both. I think they're both fire for sure. Let's see. Yeah, and y'all, I know I'm gonna answer all these questions. I know it must be annoying if you guys have all these questions. If I can't answer them right away, but I'd appreciate the support if you follow on all the platforms. The links in my bio, campsite. Obviously, my established brand is on TikTok, but I'm trying to make sure it's crossed over to all four brands too. IG, I haven't been able to connect to this streaming shit yet, so got to figure that one out too. But that'd be awesome, y'all. I appreciate you. Just in case for this band, man, I'm kind of nervous about it. Again, it's like my main source of income, so I'm really nervous about what it's going to do to my economy and the economies of bazillions of people. Hopefully, it gets nixed before it goes to the court or before they rule it, in January or whatever, whenever it goes into effect. ETN or Kendre Miller? I would go Kendre. I like I mean, I was a big ETN guy, but that was one of those I missed this year. I was right on Tracy being a sleeper late, Bucky Irving being a sleeper late. I mean, all these guys, I was right on, but I was wrong about ETN. I thought ETN was an easy second round pick with RB1 upside, and I was completely wrong. I take ownership for that, and he just hasn't been there. I mean, he was fine last week, but yeah. Let's see. You have AJ Brown. He's questionable. If he's a no go, do you put Kendre Miller or McMillan in for him? McMillan. I like both though. Start Judy or Zay tonight, or Lad tonight. Wait, what was that? Yeah, we were all wrong about dude. But I'm honest. All these other creators lie. Like like on I'm not trying to like say anything bad about other people. Everyone has their own opinions, but I feel like I'm up there with the most right of all these people on TikTok specifically, and all these like I do all my research. Sometimes stats don't back it up. We can't like predict everything, right? Otherwise, we'd all be millionaires gambling, right? If we could predict that, let's say Lad McConkey gets 60 plus yards tonight, we're going to all go the over because the stats favor it, and all of a sudden he has 2 catches. Like, we can't predict what that's all about. But I'll admit my mistakes. I'm an honest person. Like, I'm never going to be 100% right. But based on stats, I give advice. It's what I do. And I've helped a lot of people. And I'm very thankful that I've been able to help a lot of people. And I know I'm going to get hate because everybody gets hate, whatever. People never remember when what you do right. They only remember when you get it wrong in the sports industry. That's kind of how it goes, right? So It's something definitely I've gotten acclimated to. Like there was one sit start thing that I had a few weeks ago where it was like, oh, Cedric Tillman started because this is when Cedric Tillman was hot and the stats, backed it up. New Orleans was a bottom five pass defense. And he had like 8 fantasy points. That was the game he got hurt originally before he got the concussion the following week. And that's the only one people remember. They don't remember I went 3 for 3 2 weeks ago, 2 out of 3 last week, 3 out of 3 the week before that. No one's ever going to comment that. They always comment when you're wrong, right? That's kind of how it goes. But I mean, I'm for whatever. If you guys want to get out your hatred and comment with that and follow me, like it doesn't affect me. So you guys can do whatever. Let's see. Need to mix in JT Stevenson or Ford. Yeah, I would go. Ford is pretty tantalizing this weekend. I'd go Ford and probably Mixon. Yeah, Bo Nix, Tour, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. Nix or Rogers, I would go Nix. And if you see my eyes going that way, that's because I'm looking at the TikTok comments. My vision's more contacts, but it's still, I think I can still, I can still see enough here. Taylor, Madison. Someone say Madison. He was mentioned in almost 2025. They're just going so quickly on TikTok, by the way. Lamar Baker. Let's see. I would go Lamar Jackson. Yeah, easily. But Baker should have a pretty good performance. JSN, Sutton, or BTJ, pick one. I'd probably go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think he has the most upside. Yeah. Plus, he had 10 catches last week, and that was supposedly, you know, a bad matchup last week. But yeah. What do you think of Jerry Jeudy going forward? I think Jerry Judy's an easy start this week, for sure. I mean, Cincinnati's defense has been atrocious. They're giving up like 30 points per game. Jeudy, with Cedric Tillman still concussion protocol, and Njoku's probably what? And Njoku's not going to play, right? If he play, I mean, he's questionable. Is he going to play? He might not practicing. Yeah, he's still not practicing. Jerry Judy's like a lock it in start. So, yeah, Hurts or Murray. Murray should have a pretty good game, but you got to roll with Jalen Hurts. Yeah, always. I always go on the side of consistency. Like Murray can look like a top 5 player some weeks, and he looks like the worst quarterback in the league the next week. So it's hard for me to trust him on a week-to-week basis, fantasy or in real life. Start Judy, Zay, or Kendre. Judy, Addison, McLaurin, Keenan, Myers. I would go Addison and Keenan this week. McLaurin's not going to have a good game. I'd be shocked if he does. He had one catch against Philly last time. Philly's been locking all these receivers down. So I mean, it's not safe in my opinion. JSN or Bucky, that's a tougher one. I'd play both honestly, one at flex and one at whatever position you have left. I think they're both must starts. Aaron Jones or Bucky. Okay, that's a tougher one. AJ's probably going to be really good. I would lean Bucky Irving, but remember he's questionable. He has to play. And I hope it doesn't get to the point where it's like Sunday night or Sunday morning and he's still questionable and he gets ruled out. Like remember what happened to Nico Collins his first game back when he was like activated off IR? That's the thing we're always scared about, right? I'd lean Bucky though. Ladder Cup this week, I would go Lad McConkey. Cup has to earn the respect back, man. He did nothing last week. Puka's easily the one on that team. And it's getting to the point where one, like his cap hits a lot. Maybe they get rid of him in the offseason. And two, I think Puka has in consideration for the number 1 overall pick next year. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Got any X comments, man? Got some viewers, got some lurkers in the X comments. Don't be shy. You guys can ask some fantasy football questions. I'm just answering most of the TikTok ones, and the YouTube ones, they're very engaging too. I like those a lot. Dobbs, Miller, Ford. I'd probably go Ford. Yeah. K9 or Rashad White. Yeah, I'd probably go. K9 plays K9, but neither are good, right, this week because they have a really tough matchup. Seattle, I think Minnesota's number 1 against the run. It's not just that, though. It's like Rashad White's still, I kind of see him as a backup, right? Still, in my opinion. Yeah. Khalil Shakir or Garrett Wilson. That's a tougher one. I'd lean Garrett, though. Broncos or Vikings defense. I'd lean Vikings this week specifically. Javonte Williams or Pacheco. Both suck, but I'd lean Pacheco. Williams, Cook, Hubbard, pick 2. Cook and which Williams are we talking about? Jameson or Javonte? If it's Javonte, Hubbard and Cook for sure. Yeah. McMillan or Kendre, I would go McMillan. I don't hate Kendre this week. Like I think Green Bay, has been hit or miss against the run, but I just feel like they're going to be ahead the entire game. So Kendre's fantasy production may be contingent upon a touchdown or pass catching. So that's what always scares me if you're going up against a team that's way better than them, right? Bo or A Rich, Bo for sure. Kendre Miller, Stevenson. I'd go Stevenson, but it's close. I think both get the carries, but you gotta question always. And like the Ramondre part, I've seen him established as a pass catcher. We just haven't seen a ton of Kendre Miller. I'm sure he can catch passes, but he can't catch them at the level Stevenson has. So, and I say that because both those teams are going to get blown out, right? New England and New Orleans this week. Yeah, Shakir, Metcalf, Shakir, Kendre Miller, Jawan Jennings, London, Sutton, McLaurin start two. I would probably start London and Sutton. Yeah, JT or Shakir for flex. I would go Shakir. Kenneth or Bucky. You have Kyron RB1. Bucky. Certainly higher upside. At 3 games, he's been healthy. He's had 150 yards in all of them. So, yeah. Let's see. Stranger Kincaid. Yeah. I would go Brennan Strange, but he's questionable. So we got to be careful about that. Knicks or Daniels, I would go Daniels still, but it's close. Yeah, no worries, dog. No worries. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Kenneth is going to play bad. It's just like if we look at the ranks right now, like I can tell you, run defense rankings, right, in the league. Now this isn't fantasy points. Fantasy points, they're technically pretty close. They're not too far apart. Number one's Baltimore against the run. Number two is Minnesota. So that's why Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet, whoever's starting, that's kind of a tougher matchup there. Yeah. DK or Jawan Jennings, I would say. Oh, Kyron Williams. Oh, you're good. Kyron Williams and Cook, by the way, to that earlier comment. I'm sorry. DK or Jawan, probably Jawan Jennings. Yeah. Mark Andrews or Kincaid, Mark Andrews, Warren or ETN, probably Warren. Maybe ETN actually. ETN, he looked pretty good in the passing game last week. I think he had 4 catches for 50 or 60 yards. So I know this game's going to start in like 15 minutes, but I can keep rolling through if anybody has more questions. It's honestly a pretty big game on Thursday night. Yeah. Stafford or Knicks, I would go Bo Nix because of the rushing upside. Yeah, the rushing isn't going to do much, basically relying on the receiving touchdown and touchdown with Kenneth. Yeah, 100%. That's why I think like Bucky certainly has more upside. I mean, they do split goal line carries, Bucky and Rashad, and even Sean Tucker sometimes. Bucky's pass catching's elite. Todd Bowles and all their guys get Bucky open on slip screens and stuff. So there's always pass catching upside with him, and he's been the most efficient runner in the league this year. Pick 2, AJ K9T JSN. Okay. I would say T and I wouldn't say K9. I would say AJ. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could respond to all the comments I get, man, and in the DMs. I try to respond to as many as I can every day, especially on TikTok. But I love helping everybody out. Lad or Shakir? I would probably go Lad McConkey. Yeah. If you see me looking away on these other platforms, you're like, why is this dude looking away? It's because I'm looking at TikTok right there. And then if I'm, yeah. Sutton or Scary Terry? I would say, yeah, that's a good question. I'd lean Cortland. I mean, he's about to play right now. I'd play Cortland Sutton. The Chargers gave up a 40 piece. Like I know that Denver's not Tampa, but still, I want to see some improvement from the Chargers tonight. They're not even my team. I just like it's funny because they were so elite all year against the pass and the run, pretty much one of the few teams that ranked top 12 in both. All of a sudden, they gave him 40 points last week. And Scary Terry, last time he played Philly, now I'm sure he'll play better than he can't play worse than he did the first time he played Philly. I'm sure he'll get a catch, more than one catch, right? But he had 2 fantasy points last time he played Philly. Cortland Sutton, he's the number 1 option on the offense. Lad or Devontae Smith, Lad. Rico or Bigsby? Rico. Bigsby right now cannot be trusted. As I say that, I'll probably have 30 fantasy points. But no, in all seriousness, ETN was more in the receiving game last week, and Bigsby didn't really do much rushing the football. I think he had like 12 carries for like 30 yards, some horrible last week. Yeah. You start Derrick Henry. Start Derrick Henry. I don't need to read the rest of the question. Knicks or Goff. It's funny. It's hard to sit Goff after he threw for 5 touchdowns and 500 passing yards, right? That was like 40 fantasy points. I'd lean Bo Nix, though. The rushing upside. Like, Goff is never going to run, and that's kind of where I lean. Like, Bo Nix gets a rushing touchdown. You have so much more of like, it's so much easier for him to score 20 fantasy points than it is Jared Goff. Jared Goff's going to need to score 3 or 4 passing touchdowns. And let me just look at what Jared Goff had against who are they playing? The Bears, right? First time he played the Bears. Let me check. Oh, there's some basketball going on too. Let's go. I'm gonna come out with another fantasy basketball vid tonight. My bad, y'all. I'm just checking the Jared Goff fantasy stuff. Now I'll get back to the questions. I think against the Bears the last time he played, he did not do well, if I remember correct. I mean, I think he did fine, but Addison went off. I know Jefferson didn't go off. Let's see how many fantasy points he got against him. 16. Not great, but like, what did have they played? Has Knicks played the Chargers this year? I think he has, right? Already? Yeah, he had 21 fantasy points. And that was when the Chargers had a better defense than they do right now, presently constructed. So I would roll with Bo Nix over Jared Goff. Yeah. Flex question: Devontae, Kenneth, Jennings, Reed, Tyron Tracy, or Patrick Taylor. I like the look. I would say Patrick Taylor if he was guaranteed like 25 touches, but Abanaconda could actually be the RB1. We don't know. Or Vaughn. Like, I don't know what Kyle Shanahan's going to do. I think Abanaconda has the most upside. Patrick Taylor is kind of a special teams back through the tackles. Abanaconda is more like Garendo, CMC, like more upside, heavy hitter type of guy, explosive back. If you guys are in very deep leagues, I wouldn't start him, but I would pick up Abanaconda because what happens now, if you're in the semis, you stash him. He goes off as the RB1. Taylor's nowhere to be found. And then next week you're in the championship and he's projected 14, 15 fantasy points. I'm saying that's certainly a possibility. Not to say Garendo wouldn't be back by that point, but yeah, so I don't trust Patrick Taylor until I see it, even though he probably has a really good game. So I would probably go Jennings 1, Tyrone would be 2, and then Reed would be 3. Yeah. Reed's playing a really bad team, but I just don't trust Matt LaFleur to get him involved. Yeah. JT or Kenneth, I would go probably JT. Yeah. Starting RBs, Kyren Williams, Kenneth Walker. Let me see that question. Kyren Williams, Kenneth Walker, Kendry Miller, Patrick Taylor. Yeah, I would go Kyren, and I would go Kyren if you have to choose one. The other 3 have all like it's hit or miss with those. Yeah. Love or A-Rich, Jordan Love for sure. Jordan Love's been unreal. It's funny. He's having he's replicating what he did last year in the second half of the season, where he had like 20 touchdowns and 3 picks over the last 6, 7, 8 games or something. He's a second half type of player. So JSN or Reek JSN. I can't trust Tyreek against the number 2 passing defense. Yeah. Oh, who is it you should put at flex? Yeah, Kyren Williams. For sure. 100%, bro. So I'm going to get off of that so I can see this. What's up, y'all? Let me turn this down. Okay. Let's see. Am I tripping? I'm trying to see all these comments. Okay. Lad or Walker. I would go Lad for sure. Yeah. Aaron Jones, London. I don't need to see the rest. I would start London. I think London's going to have a big game. I don't care that Penix is his first start. He's going against the Giants. Giants have been better against the pass than against the run. I don't think they're going to put Penix in a ton of. I think they're going to like roll with Bijan most of that game, kind of like what they did to the Raiders last week. I do think, if anybody's going to go off in the receiving game, it's going to be London for the Falcons. ETN or Javonte? Yeah, that's a good question. I would go ETN. I can't trust Javonte. I mean, he had that. I mean, last Thursday night performance, he had like 20 fantasy points, but his yards per carry has been horrible this year. Let me look up how many yards he has even in general, because this is a committee backfield too, right? He has only 461 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, 130. Yeah, he's not playing well this year, and he has 4 touchdowns. Okay, so he's gotten a few, but it always scares me to trust a guy like him. I'd much rather trust ETN because I've seen the pass catching the last 4 weeks, right? Like, Mac Jones is certainly targeting him. Check downs. Yeah. Yeah. Help. PPR, Russ with no Pickens versus Baltimore, Purdy versus Miami. Caleb, DJ Moore, or Rush versus I'd play Purdy versus Miami. He has some rushing upside. I think he's really mad about how he performed last week. So I think he probably takes that into the Miami game, even though Miami's a pretty good defense. But yeah, Judy, Ridley, or Cup, Judy, Hill or Sutton. I'd go Sutton. You're starting running back because Kyron Williams. Okay. My bad. Kendre Miller, Patrick Taylor. I would go probably Marvin Harrison Jr. against Carolina. Don't love any of those guys, but I think he probably has the highest chance of getting you 20 plus fantasy points. Yeah. 49ers or Miami, like who's going to win the game or who would you play defensively? At this point, as a Niner fan, I want them to lose every game the rest of the way so we get a higher draft pick since we're eliminated. But I'd say what defense is probably going to play better? 49ers. Yeah, their defense looked unreal with Dre Greenlaw last week. T. Higgins or Smitty? I'd go T. Higgins. Start Sutton tonight. I think Sutton's a pretty good start tonight. Ladd or Sutton tonight? Yeah, I think they're both solid starts. I'd probably lean Cortland, but I think they're both. I'd probably lean Ladd actually, but they're both really good starts. Darnold or Purdy? I would go Purdy. Rodgers or Knicks? Yeah, I'd probably go Knicks. I mean, he had 20 fantasy points the last time he played the Chargers. So, yeah. Jennings or Judy or ETN? Judy. Judy's must start. I mean, probably no David Njoku again. Definitely no. I mean, yeah, is Cedric Tillman going to come back this week? I don't think so. Is he? Am I tripping? But he's not that big of a threat. Oh, he might play this week. He was a limited participant. Still, no Njoku. Judy's going to get the workload. Against Cincinnati, they give up like 30 points per game. So, yeah. 49ers or Miami, who wins? Unfortunately, probably the 49ers. And I say unfortunately because I'm a Niners fan. I do not want us to win because I want a higher draft pick, reload next year, compete next year. But knowing that they can't, now they're mathematically eliminated, they're going to win the rest of their games. That's just kind of how that team operates. It's so dumb. Be 9-8 and get like the 20th overall pick, 19th or 18th or whatever. Evans, BTJ, Moore, Judy, Scary Terry, JSN, Williams, Cook, Hubbard, Pacheco, start two. Okay. Jerry Judy and BTJ. Then okay. Jerry Judy, BTJ, JSN. You have JSN at flex. Then I would go Kyron Williams and James Cook. Yeah. Ladd or London and why? Both. I think Ladd certainly has more upside since Penix hasn't started a game. I think if you're leaning on upside and safety, I'd roll with Ladd, but I think London certainly has a ton of upside. Like if someone's going to get a touchdown from Michael Penix, it's Drake London. But I think Ladd is, this is 14 plus fantasy points 4 weeks in a row. It's so hard to sit a guy like that you can just be like, okay, let's lock in 15 fantasy points, right? Like that's instrumental, especially now since we're in the semifinals for most leagues. In the finals next week, that's something where we're like, okay, I'd much rather have the safety factor of Ladd McConkey versus Drake London versus a rookie quarterback. Even though the Giants are horrible, the Chargers gave up 40. The Broncos, Pat Surtain, like he's been dealing with injuries, right? Like I feel like the Chargers, they're going to come out throwing for sure. Yeah. Let's see. Looking at more questions. Okay, let's see. Brian Robinson. Okay, what's that one? My bad. They go by so quick in the TikTok comments because there's like hundreds of them. So for the people that don't understand on like YouTube and X, let's see why I'm like looking up here. It's because of the TikTok. Knicks or Murray? I would go Bo Nix. Yeah. Addison, Devontae Smith, Jacoby Myers. Addison. AJ Brown, will he play? I don't know if he's going to play, but I'd probably start Ladd and have AJ Brown come in at flex if he does play and just sit someone else. Jalen Coker to the moon this week. Yeah, I like it. Start two in standard scoring. Yeah, Cup versus Jets, Garrett Wilson versus Rams, McConkey versus Broncos, Myers versus Jaguars. I'd go McConkey versus Broncos and Garrett Wilson versus Rams. Yeah, Cup can't be trusted after 0 fantasy points last week. He definitely will get 10 probably, but I think McConkey's upside and his floor is safer, and I think Garrett Wilson has more upside than Jacoby Myers with either Desmond Ritter or Aiden O'Connell. I still don't like it, even against the Jaguars, who are horrible defensively. Herbert or Penix? Herbert for sure. Let's see. How does Penix starting affect Drake London? I don't think it's that much of a difference like people think, man. I think it's more. I just think they're going to run the football a lot. Giants' run defense has been abysmal all year. I think Bijan had 125 yards last week. I think he probably has close to 200. Kenry Miller, Patrick Taylor, Tyreek, Jalen McMillan. I'd go Jalen McMillan out of those four. That sounds crazy, but I think McMillan has another 18-plus fantasy point game. Jason, Judy, DJ Moore, start two, Malik Neighbors. Jason and Judy. I love Malik, but I would have Judy a little bit higher than him this week specifically. Malik's also caught one touchdown pass in the last 10 games, right? So Judy, I feel like, has that touchdown upside. And we know Winston's going to sling it the whole game. Yeah. Jacoby Myers or Brian Robinson. I'd probably lean Jacoby, even with the quarterback situation being iffy. Yeah. Shakir or Jonathan Taylor. Shakir, but it's close. It's not like I think Jonathan has a bad game. But yeah, Kenry Miller or Ramondre Stevenson, Ramondre, but I don't like either. I don't hate either, but I also don't like either. I think they both get around 12 fantasy points if the projections are correct or close to that. The matchups aren't like extremely ideal for either. I mean, Buffalo's run defense has been pretty bad, but they're going to be playing behind, so Ramondre's going to have to catch passes. That's really going to be his and so that's why I kind of said Ramondre. I think he gets like 5 or 6 catches. Oh, this game's about to start, huh? SoFi Stadium, huh? There are going to be more Broncos fans than Chargers fans tonight. Probably. I feel like in Los Angeles specifically, because I live in LA. I've lived here my whole life, born and raised. I feel like there's more Niner fans than there are Rams fans. I feel like there's more Raiders fans than there are Rams fans. And I feel like there are more Rams fans, obviously, than Chargers fans. And there might be more Cowboys fans than Rams and Chargers. There might be. Yeah, that's kind of how it is. So it's weird. Whenever the Rams and Chargers play home games, it's like the other team is always, it's not like a home game, Pick two, Neighbors, BTJ, Ladd, Garrett Wilson. Well, I'm going to have to help you quick since this game's about to begin. I would go BTJ and Ladd. McLaurin or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra for sure. McLaurin or Devontae Smith. Both aren't going to play well this week. I'd lean Devontae Smith, though. Kamara's, I think, out for the year. You should sit Kamara for sure. Pick someone else up. Tracy, Zach Sharp, or Taylor, Jonathan Taylor. Unless it's Patrick Taylor, then I would probably say Tracy. Brian Robinson, Rachaad White, B-Rob. Yeah. Let's see. Love or Penix? Love for sure, man. I think you got to go with what you've seen. We haven't seen Penix, especially if you have an elite quarterback like Love. Love's like a top 6, 7 quarterback in the league. Pick three, Flowers, Tyreek, JSN, BTJ, or AJ Brown. I would go BTJ and JSN over AJ Brown right now, but I think AJ has a decent game. And this game's about to start. So if you have it just started. So if you have any Ladd questions, whether you should start him or not, either he's in your lineup or he's not. And that goes for Courtland Sutton as well, because this game just began. And I'm watching this right now, and I'll stay on stream for all these people, any questions and stuff like that. Chuba or James Cook? James Cook. Let's see. Jonnu Smith. Ooh, Gus Edwards, huh? Sorry, I was just watching the game too. Jonnu Smith, what was that question? Jonnu Smith. I didn't even see that question. Oh, there we go. Kenry Miller, McMillan. Patrick Taylor, Tracy Miller, Juwan Jennings. I'd probably go Juwan. And Tracy if you have to pick two. London or McLaurin. London. McLaurin is not going to play well. I don't think after especially what happened last week too. Put this in. Oh, pass to Gus Edwards, huh? Wild. See what happens in this game. See if Ladd gets some stuff that's going on. I would show the game on the stream, but I'd be in copyright hell if I did. I don't think I'm allowed to. McMillan or Keenan out. I would be allowed to on Twitch, and I'm going to start doing lives on Twitch probably next week. Problem is, I'm always working Saturday and Sunday, so I can't stream during those games. And then Thursday, I'm usually working too. So at the radio station. What happened with McLaurin the last time? Oh, what happened last week with McLaurin? Did he have 2 touchdowns? I think he played well. It's not against the Eagles, though. Cooper DeJean or DeJean, however you want to say it. Quinion, that D-line, their whole defense is elite. That'd be the reason they go to the Super Bowl right there. Achane or Neighbors? I'd go Achane. Do you think you can trust James Conner? Yes. He's going against Carolina. They have the worst run defense in football. Damn, that was a hold of a century right there. They declined that? Yeah, they declined it. Brian Robinson or Patrick Taylor? B-Rob. A-Rich, Mahomes, or Goff? What was that last one? Goff? Oh, A-Rod. A-Rod probably. Who do you start? DJ Moore, Bucky, or Shakir? Bucky. But we got to make sure he plays. He's questionable. Now Bo Nix is coming out. So all the people I just said, start Bo Nix. Let's hope we get a good series from him. Justin Herbert also didn't throw. He just threw to Gus. So that was like, Vlad didn't get any on the first series, but it doesn't matter. Goff or Rodgers? I would say I'd lean Rodgers. I don't like the Rams defense. I don't care how they played against San Francisco. I think that was more the weather. It was raining. Brock Purdy didn't know how to throw in the rain. That was most of the game. Like, I don't think they're that good defensively. Their line is pretty good at rushing the passer, but they give up still a boatload of fantasy points against running backs. Is that Estime? Estime getting the first carry, huh? That's Audric, no? Am I tripping? 23? Audric Estime, right? Not Javonte Williams. Now Javonte Williams is in. Najee Harris or Kendre Miller? I would go Kendre. Brendan Strange or Travis Kelsey? Kelsey, but it's close. I think they're both like around 9-10. Daddle, Keenan, or Judy in flex. There's Javonte with the carry. Nice first round run by him. Judy in flex, yeah. Yeah, Myers or Keenan Allen? I would go Keenan Allen. Tracy or Reed? I'd go Tracy. Jaden or Goff? I would go Jaden Daniels because of the rushing upside. He's got to play better than he did against Philly the last time they played. Yeah. We've been on the stream like, what's it been, 48 minutes now? Let's go, man. Again, the people on TikTok, since that's probably the most engaging comment section. It's definitely where my brand is the most established. Sorry, I keep bringing it up, but I'd appreciate it heavy if you guys could follow on all platforms, like sub to YouTube, follow on X, Instagram, which is also in my bio. I got to figure out the Instagram's paying plan because I get like a ton of views on Reels there and no monetization. So I got to figure that out. I had a bonus in the past, but it wasn't like much. Yeah, but I'm going to stream probably on IG too. Baker or Jane Daniels? McMillan's your wide receiver too. Baker then. I think that's closer than people think this week with Baker and Jaden. Yeah. Tampa's playing Dallas, right? Yeah, Dallas is, I know they're healthier, but they're still not excellent against. There's next pass to, who is that? Who is that? Burton. Barely know Burton. He's caught like 6 passes all year. Purdy or Rodgers? I'd probably go Purdy, rushing upside. Higgins or Kupp? Higgins. I don't trust Kupp after last week. Kendre Miller or Devontae Smith? Yeah, I'd probably go Kendre. Probably Kendre. Devontae's, Washington's pass defense, surprisingly, they were the worst in the league last year. What a turnaround. They're 4th against the pass in the entire NFL. Jerome Ford, Tony Pollard, Patrick Taylor, Jerome Ford. Oh my gosh, that's Javonte with the big run. People see that, they'll be like, why do you tell me to sit Javonte Williams? Well, because what has Javonte done the last? Well, that was like, he didn't do anything. That's going to get like 1 fantasy point, maybe, max. Not even. What did he do the last game? He is 0.6 right now. 4.3 fantasy points, 7.4, 2.4, and then 2.7 the week before that, or 2 weeks before that. So that's why I said sit Javonte. Even if he goes off tonight, that's still the right call. DJ Moore, Bucky, or Shakir, even Marv. Yeah, Bucky, bro. Colin, I would pick Bucky. Yeah. Juwan Jennings or Tracy at flex. I would go Tyrone. Nix is in trouble. Dang, he got that out quick. That was a good pass. Is that Troutman? Who is that? Oh, Troutman's on. He's not even on. Adkins. My bad. I don't know why I get them mixed up. They don't even look alike. Atkins is the backup tight end. Oh, he is on. He is on Denver. I'm sure I was right. Oh my gosh, I got to trust my gut. Goff or A-Rich, I would say Goff. I can't trust Richardson even with the rushing upside after last week. Yeah, guys. Two or Knicks. Yeah, I would say Nick. Well, Knicks is already playing, so hopefully you already started Knicks. Is Jared Judy even startable with no Jameis? I think so. I mean, Njoku's out, so I know Dorian Thompson Robinson's going to be there, but I still trust Jerry. I think Jerry's pretty startable. Look, I don't. DTR is more of a running guy. He's not really a passing guy. He doesn't have this. He has a lot of intangibles, a lot of upside, but he's not like a polished quarterback. But Jerry, who else is he going to throw to, man? Like I think he's got. I would start Jerry. I mean, unless you have a better option. Who's this? McLaughlin with a run. Damn, they're at the 10 already. That's crazy. Already at the 10. Let's see. Kendrick Miller, Keenan Allen, Jerome Ford start two. I'd probably go Jerome Ford and Keenan Allen. Yeah. Just texting about this game. Baker or Knicks? I'd probably go. I'd go Nick. Well, Knicks is already playing, so hopefully you started Knicks. Brees or Chuba? Brees. Baker again. Baker or Knicks? Hopefully you started Knicks because this game has already started. If you start Baker, it's not the end of the world. I think Baker probably has a decent game. Brees, Kyron, Bucky, Garendo, Tracy. Well, Garendo's not playing this week, so I'd go Bucky and Kyron. Yeah, go Bucky and Kyron. Yeah, stay on the stream probably a few minutes longer. Let's see. Yeah, Dobbs or McMillan. I would go. It's gonna sound. I'd go McMillan for sure. Yeah, it's a pass by next. McMillan has had 18 plus fantasy points back-to-back weeks. So I trust that over Dobbs, who he had 2 touchdowns, but also what did he do previous weeks? Like he's hit or miss. McMillan seems like he's definitely got more going on right now. And he's implemented like kind of like a Godwin role. Obviously, Evans is still the one, but McMillan has taken over as the 2 on this offense in the passing game because Otten isn't even having the production previously. Cup, London, Sutton, Judy start 3. Well, Sutton's already playing, so if you either have him in your lineup or not, the other 2, if you have him, would be Lamb and probably still Judy. It's tough. Judy, even with DTR, probably, but it's close. I don't mind it if you start Cup. Yeah. Goff or Lamar? I'd go Lamar. Tyreek McMillan or Keenan McMillan. Yeah. Bench 1, Kyron Hill, Wilson. I'd probably go. Yeah, man. I'd probably bench. That one's tougher for sure. Hill. Who's going to get this touchdown? Oh, Audric Estime touchdown. Wow. That's why you don't trust Javonte Williams right there. Sit 1, Henry, Chuba, Chase Brown, Bucky. I would go. Yeah, I'd probably go sit 1. Those are 4 good running backs. Probably Chuba. I'd play the other 3. Yeah. Terry or Patrick Taylor. I would go Terry, but I don't think he has a great performance. Actually, maybe Patrick Taylor. But again, I don't know if Kyle's going to utilize Patrick as the RB1 in that offense. That's the issue I have there. Najee, Bigsby, Madison, or Spears. Najee. I don't trust Bigsby's efficiency was horrible last week. What did Bigsby have last week? I mean, ETN was better and more efficient last week. Let's see. I'm just going by game log, 11 carries, 42 yards. 3.8 is not as bad as I thought, but he had a 14-yard carry. That's what got him to that. Jerome Ford or McMillan at flex. McMillan, Myers or Flowers. I would go probably probably Myers. Who do you think will be the RB1 in the Niners if Garendo's out? Patrick Taylor probably, but don't rule out Isaac Abaconda. Like I'm an Anaconda. Like that guy's a baller. I think he just needed to learn the offense for a few weeks. Or is it it's not Isaac. What's his name? Anaconda. Uh, Israel. My bad. I got it confused with Garendo. Israel Anaconda. He's a baller. Was it smart to bench Lad for T and JSN? I think JSN and T have more upside. I love Lad McConkey. I think he's a pretty easy start, but like the other two have higher upsides probably. Yeah. Joe Mixon or Bucky. Bucky, but it's close. Yeah. It's close for sure. It is close for sure. Let me see these questions. Kincaid or Strange? I would go Strange. Do you start AR, Jordan Love? Jordan Love. Holmes or Purdy, Bigsby, Patrick Taylor, or what's the last one there? Ty Johnson? Probably Patrick Taylor. Yeah. Kendre Miller, yeah, I think he's solid. I don't think he gets more than like 13, 14 fantasy points, but I think if he gets the touchdown, obviously his day's easier. Like it's easier for him to get fantasy points. What other questions we got? Oh, how does Kyron Williams? I didn't see that, man. How does Kyron Williams look to start over Drake London or Malik Neighbors? You like Neighbors because of the matchup? Yeah, the Atlanta matchup is solid for sure, but I do like Kyron Williams more this week and Drake London. I mean, Kyron Williams, he's going to get the usage. He had 25 carries against the Niners, 10 days of rest, so he had a lot of time to recover. I would certainly start the running back. If they're all kind of in the same tier, I would start the running back for sure. Aaron Jones or JSN at flex, JSN, but it's close. I like both a lot. Stafford, May, or AR. I'd go Drake May, even against Buffalo. Buffalo's been giving up a boatload of fantasy points. I mean, 500 yards for Jared Goff, 450 yards for like Matt Stafford the week before. Drake May probably has one of his best games all year. Yeah. Taylor, JR, Swift. Oh, Taylor Jr. Swift. I thought it was like Taylor JT or Swift. Probably Patrick Taylor. Yeah. Yeah. I think they're all fine though. I think they're all solid. To this dude, my friend Xavier, I want him to come on and ask questions. He's like, I don't know football. Well, ask a question about basketball. Then come on, bro. I'll answer all questions. I know a lot of people don't like basketball, but on this chat, like it's specifically a football answering stuff. But thoughts on Saints making a comeback in a Super Bowl run this year? Yeah, I think there's a higher chance of you winning the lottery 4 times over. Yeah, higher chance of you winning the lottery 4 times. I mean, the Saints are virtually eliminated, aren't they? NFL standings, pretty much, right? I don't know if they're effectively eliminated or whatever. Yeah, they're 5-9. They're done. Maybe next year they move on from Derek Carr, perhaps. Etienne or Ramondre? It's Etienne. Actually, Ramondre, but it's close. I like both. I think Etienne has some receiving upside. But yeah. But listen, again, I'm probably gonna hop off right now. I love all you guys. Thank you for the support. Wherever you're viewing from, make sure to follow me on all platforms. You can DM me, ask me questions, and